Okay, cool. So my name is Antonio Mamo, and today for our podcast, I have with me our guest, and he's called Thomas. So Thomas, welcome to our podcast today. Would you tell our audience who you are and what you do?
Hi, Anthony. Thanks for having me here. My name is Thomas Stricker. I'm 30 years old, located in Dortmund, Germany. And for about 1 year now, I'm working as IT project manager with the French consulting IT company Capgemini. Before I worked already nearly 10 years as programmer and consultant and project manager and project management office. So basically the whole portfolio for a middle-sized German company, which was mainly focused on some Microsoft products. So basically my whole career so far was somewhere in the IT area.
Thank you so much, Thomas. To our audience today, our topic is how to build a great team, a team that can deliver in project management. Okay, so I will go back to Thomas and ask you, Thomas. So, how would you characterize a great team?
I would say one of the main aspects of a great team is a trust. So you have really people trusting each other, working with each other, speaking open with each other. So that's then the shift from people just doing their tasks and to get their tasks done to really a team which has like a common goal and trying to achieve something together. So you can, most of the time, if you look at teams and you see them like, discussing about stuff, but also a little bit of joking around and feeling comfortable by just or not losing, leaving their professional role. That's most of the time a good sign if you look at a team and you see this kind of behavior and see them together going for lunch or something like this. That is most of the time a sign for a good team.
Yes, Thomas, you're talking about trust, and you're also talking about the ability for this team to then deliver what is required. So I want us to go like one step behind, like before you reach to a point where you get a trust, because normally when you are building a team, then the first thing is like you guys are meeting, like you are meeting for the first time, no one knows. What would you think about if I talk in terms of like building parameters, or like maybe someone would say like rules, but building parameters through which the team should be performing, and also knowing everyone's capability. So then, like when you build that to an extent, you reach a point where now trust is then built. What do you think about that?
Yes, for sure. So this trust and this working team is not just existing. This is a way to go. And it's a lot of work most of the time to create this. And I think also there is no golden rule to reach this. Sometimes you just set up a team and you have some characters that don't fit to each other. So you will never, I mean, they are still able to deliver things, but they will never really form as a real performing team. They will do their job and that's it. But anyway, like to start from your question, how to build it up, I think really at the beginning, this first meetings, those are like the crucial groundwork you have to do. And there's basically the main chance also for you to build this up. And also there, just because you have maybe a 1 week kickoff on site, this doesn't mean that after this 1 week you have immediately this great working team which trust each other. But there you start this process. So there you have to do this groundworks so that then after time things can grow. But there you have to do the basic investment that those things are running, I would say.
So you are saying that so this is something that is perpetual. You build it over time, if I got it right.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. And now I'm imagining like a team. If you have a project, have been selected as project manager, and now you want to build a team. So I think this is also going to be related to what we said, like this perpetuity that is involved with project with the project team development and also establishment. So what stages would you consider when you have a team?
Well, of course, we can use this known model with norming, forming, performing, storming. So those things for sure you can use. But even though in general, I think it's a fluent thing. So if you ask me how I would build up a team, of course, in the beginning, you have this formal process of selecting people.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are the lucky one who can select the people. Most of the time, your company will provide you people.
Yes.
And this is your team. And then it's your job to bring this people really together to a team. So usually, yes, you have this norming phase, so which is for me usually kind of a kickoff, where you bring the people the first time together, let them get to know, let them, yeah, of course, you as a project manager give a little bit the ground rules on how to work in this project. But anyway, also there you take from the team how they want to work in this project and try. It's your job to somehow match those expectations to the framework that you're creating. So then that you have this. So this is for me the first phase.
Yeah.
Then it's the beginning of the actual work, where it's then also important. I mean, always depends on the duration of your project.
Yes.
Let's say to keep it easy, we have a 1-year project. So that you say, okay, maybe after 2 months, let's take a day time, maybe not even on site, maybe remote, depending on how your team is located, but to really review this first 2 months of project work, like what is going good, what is not going great, what are the things we maybe even didn't consider in the beginning, because at that point, we didn't have the full understanding of the challenges that are waiting for us. So it's important, this team building and setting up a team is not just a nice event in the beginning. Yeah. As you said, it's a continuous project or progress. And so it's also important that you review these things and that you just have a look on your team. And then you will see, maybe sometimes it works fast and the people are finding together. Yes. Because you have a lot of similar characters with a lot of shared values. And sometimes not. And especially if not, this means you have to put some extra investments and maybe bring the team again together for some activities and let the things develop. And of course, it's no guarantee that in the end it will work. But yeah, so you have the beginning phase, then you have, and then it's more like a continuous monitoring. And the more you realize this team is together, the less you as project manager has to do, because then these people will anyway say, okay, maybe 3 people who are located at the same size, because they are already working as a team and build up some connections, that they go by themselves in the evening for some dinner or whatever. So then these things are happening by itself. But you are in the beginning, you are as project manager, you're the one who needs to give the first push that those things are start. And then also need to see if those things are starting, and if not, you need to think about, okay, what can I do to bring those things finally float, or to make these things running forward.
Yes. So from what you said, I understand that as a project manager, you have a team. It's very critical also to observe the potential of each project team member. So then, because that one helps you also to manage your team. Was that something that you also said?
Yes, on the one hand, for sure, it's potential and the capabilities of the people, but also to understand them in general. So for me, it's also important to meet my team members in person, to have a talk with them, not only about work and their professions, but also understanding their private life. Maybe they have just a newborn child, so you suddenly understand why they sometimes struggles to attend meetings on time, or why you have the feeling that there's somewhere else in their head, or I don't know, they have some other situations. So it's important to get over this point of work, but really understanding the people. And then it's also for you easier to react on their needs. So that's what I mean with trust, because if you just talk about work, you will never really bound or build real trust. Those things are just happening for us if you open up a little bit and show a little bit of your private life and private sides, and then also understand the whole life behind the person you're working with, and not just 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever of professional work, but really understanding those people and what are their motivators, what are maybe also their boundaries at the moment. So to get like I mean, you will never get a holistic picture of a person, but to get a better understanding of a person and maybe also why a person is acting like it does at the moment.
Yeah, that is very detailed, and I think you talk about understanding there. You talked about what motivates them, and you talk also about them, like the social life, like you're understanding their social life, and offering yourself not only in the office and also what they do outside the life. So that's I think I like the idea and also your approach. So I've been working with some companies, and there's something that I found out. I don't know what you think about this. I will tell you. So I have been working in a team, and this one person, this person in a team, they don't do so much, and most people are complaining. But I also realized that this one person, or this one particular person, was very good at gelling. So that means like in a way, people will say they don't know anything, or if it's like in IT, they have no idea. But this person, every time you put this person in a team, it's not a project manager, and this person always makes things work. Have you ever experienced that, like where you're in a team with someone who, just by the fact that he's present, things seems to move, but if you actually look at what their responsibilities are, you don't really see. But they're always in these projects just because they make the team gel. Have you ever been in a project like that, or in a team like that, or have you ever experienced? And what is your take on that?
I would say yes, those people are existing, so you don't find them in every team. Yeah. But yes, sometimes they are kind of the glue who keep the team together. So sometimes yes, there are people who are maybe by their fewer project work contribution not the most crucial people, but maybe those are the people who know how to connect between very introvert people and very extrovert people, and who do this management between those, and who can do it just because they are not on a management position, but they are just team members. So yeah, sometimes there are people, because sometimes you have just people in your teams who have like great social skills and who can work with and interact with everyone and make the whole team feel better. And then of course this is also a big value for the team, and not only what they contribute. So yes, sometimes those people are existing, and if you find those people, you are really lucky. But in general, I would say maybe I experienced it in 1 out of 10 projects. Whoa. That you have really this one person where you say, okay, if he's in the room, everyone is in a good mood. Yes. If you have those people, be happy and protect them for any price, and maybe even if they have some technical weakness, help them to overcome this. But it's not something I would say you can hope for every time. But I think that's maybe also a culture thing, depending on where in the world you are located. Yes. And if this can increase the likelihood that you have some very person with a great social skills, or in some other countries, maybe it's more unlikely that you have those people, just because the culture itself is more an introvert culture. I would describe it. Yeah, because I think it's so. I'm so happy to hear that you also have experienced this, and I'm also like amazed that you say that only like 1 in 10 projects. So that means that these people like they are not. You don't find them in every project, but also when you find them, like from your words, you find they are very key people that they glue the team together, and you should be happy and should protect them. So on the other hand, I remember I was working on a project, and my project manager, when this particular person who makes the team gel was, he got a job in another company for another project, and I realized that the person who was taking over, I was so new in this project, so I didn't know how to behave, but I realized that most of the people in that project wanted to quit the job. So these are the needy, the people who I would say, like, I don't know, I would say like they're like bullies in the project.
So how would you tell, what would you advise us, or maybe how would you handle that situation where you have, you don't like now you don't have the gelling person, like the person who glues the people together, but maybe someone who separates the people like in the team. So how would you approach that situation for the project to continue?
That's then definitely a situation where you as project manager needs to interact and to react. And I mean, also there is not this golden rule, but first of all, of course, there you then really need to understand this one person and understand why things are happening. Might be that this person is just frustrated because he or she has the feeling that she has all the workload on their shoulders, or might be that they are just not happy with their overall situation in life or whatever. So might be that there are some particular reasons why they are dividing the team, so that you can try to reach out to those people.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't need to make all the people in the team friends, but at least to bring them on a level that they can work together. And there's often the important thing to really observe the things and understand where the conflicts are coming from. And then it's your job as project manager to try to balance those things.
Yes.
But also if you see that this is going too far and that there's a real risk for the team, then of course you at least need to think about to do like the not so great things that are part of the job, and to remove this person and to say, even though maybe this person brings great technical skills, it brings at a risk to destroy the whole team. I mean, removing people or exchanging people is always like the ultima ratio. So that's the last thing you should do. So first of all, of course, you should try to understand the conflicts, understand the parties, and try, maybe it's just one thing somewhere hidden which causes all the conflict, and you can solve this and those people are finding together. But if you invest time and efforts and you realize the situation is not getting better but worse, yeah, then it's also to your job to do this unpopular decisions and to say, okay, if you continue with this person and he's not changing the behavior, at least on a way that the whole team can interact with it, then it's your job also to intervene and maybe exchange this person or move it to another position inside the project where he or she is more working on themselves.
Yes.
Might be some option, but yeah. In general, to answer the question, first thing, understand the situation, try to solve the conflict, bring the people together. And then if this is not working, think about actions, maybe just minor actions by changing the project organization or something like this. Or then the last action would be then really taking this person out, because you say this person is a risk for the overall team success.
Yes, I totally agree with you, because generally I actually learned that turnover, like if you have turnover in projects, it costs up to like 2 months salary of of someone whom you have released to acquire one new person. And in most cases, then it's not easy for you to get the right fit. So that means like it's not like so direct that you say, okay, we have this person who is kind of like interfering, and just release him. So the idea that you talked about was that you have to understand what really where the problem is. And after really understanding the problem, and if you realize that the problem lies with this one person, then it qualifies, releasing this person. But in the most important thing, just to avoid all the costs that are involved, the most important thing is then that you understand what is going on before. So I think I like the idea.
Yeah, and it's not only about the cost. Of course, it's also a topic for the timeline, because if you exchange people, of course, your output will decrease for some time.
Yes.
And another thing is also, I mean, if you exchange people from the project as project manager, this is of course also always assigned to the rest of the team. So also the team should just see that you just take this like as last action. Because if they get the impression that you are exchanging people on a weekly basis, if they are not performing as you wish or something, then also this will never get into a team. So you should be also careful. I mean, that is basically the last action you can take when you're just a pure project manager and not a hierarchical manager of this person. So you should be careful when you use like the most powerful action that you have. So that's another reason why I say, just because there's a problem, of course, on the first view, the easiest solution is just changing the people. But first of all, there's no guarantee that the next person will fit better. And of course,
yeah,
it's also you have to decide which kind of sign you want to send to the team. And I would always prefer to send the sign that I want to find some solution inside of the team and not just exchanging people.
I mean, I totally agree with you, Thomas, because now when you talk about, I talked about the cost, you added the aspect of, timeline and also the effects on, like the team members when they see, oh, the project manager is changing, like everyone is quitting, or he's sending people away from the project, that the morale will be interfered with.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I would like also to know something. When you talk about a great team, there's always the sense of why, like the purpose of doing or performing a task or becoming that great team is always very clear. So in what scenarios have you ever seen like a team, or would you create a team where their sense of why, or the will is so great that everyone is looking forward to the end?
To be honest, I think most of the time I experienced this when the project was before in a very bad situation. Like when you were really on the ground and the project was about to crash against the wall.
Yes.
And then you had this moment, basically everyone in the project knew it's now nearly impossible to get this done.
Yes.
And then sometimes projects fails, but sometimes then you have also this I would call it maybe the we against the world mentality. So you manage. Sometimes it's happening. Sometimes you can reach it by management that the people sit down and agree and say, "No, come on, we are going to turn this thing around." So to be honest, most of the time, the closest team I experienced were the ones which went through very bad situations in the project, but stick together. So when then the team is not breaking apart in this very hectical and full of pressure situation, but getting together, if you manage one time then to get out of this very, let's call it red project situation and manage, even if you just turn it into a yellow situation, but you as a whole team know we managed to turn something around which looked very, very bad, this connects. So of course, bad times are connecting people. It would be nice if you don't have to go through the stage before. And I'm not saying that you have to send your project first into a catastrophe that you can bound the people. But just from my experience, this is the one way that I experienced great working teams. And the other thing, of course, in my previous company, which was not that big, we had some projects where the team was more or less the same. So at least let's say like 60–70% of the people worked with me also in other projects so far. So we had already our shared past, our shared experience, and we knew each other. And so basically from day one, we started with a good spirit saying, okay, we have the gang together again. So let's do another project. Maybe also having a few new people, looking forward to get them included, but to have this core team, let's call it, together with whom you already worked. And then also often I experienced this great team spirit and this going from day one and then more having this maybe even a little bit overconfidence to say, okay, we rocked the show already like a few times, so let's rock it another time.
Yes. I agree with you because I had the same experience and exactly what you said. I had a team and we worked so hard, but then like we thought we were working so hard and then we messed everything and we were at the verge of, like losing our job. And then everyone was like, let's sit down and analyze the situation. And after a while, everyone was like, we were working as if, I don't know, like we had the biggest drive I ever experienced where you're like, we have to get it right, like, before the time. So like beat even like the timeline. So for me, that was, and I think in most cases, this also builds a team. And I think, and that's why I remember that this team, I have them as my friends until today, although we are living separately in different continents. But after facing these difficult situations and came to a point where we started working, everyone had their great why, you know, everyone had the idea of what is supposed to be done. Everyone wanted to deliver it in time, and there was no question, there was no excuse. And like you said, it's not the best feeling that normally this one comes after something bad has happened.
Yes.
Yeah, so Thomas, we are soon finishing. I would want us to wanted to ask you one thing. If you have a new project manager, or if you were to advise a new project manager who is getting a new team, and what would you advise them on? What will be the main, advice would you advise, like I may advise a new project manager on how to, you know, set a great team?
There are, I think, a few advices I would like to give. Like one thing for sure is this being approachable. So, you know, show a bit of yourself, not just run around as the manager. So for example, one thing that I do in the first kickoff when I'm showing slides and also introducing myself, I'm not just doing this business introduction, my education is this, and I have this experience, but also just put some pictures from my private life, telling a little bit of what are my hobbies, what are my interests, so that also people have something to talk with you, which is not only work. Yeah. So that's the first advice that I would give. So, you know, I mean, don't be over approachable. You don't need to be best friends with your team members, but show yourself and show them, yeah, you are basically part of the team and they can approach you and they can talk to you. Yeah. So this is one advice I would give that I learned in my past and learned from other people, and that I will do now for sure for the rest of my career. Yeah. That this is just a very, very good thing, and also not only for you, but also give your team members the chance to introduce them. But you should be the one who does the first step, and to show, you know, it doesn't hurt to show a little bit of your private life. Maybe take some funny picture of you, do some stuff, you know, which is not destroying your reputation, but shows that you are also human, that you have sense of humor, that you know, yeah, that you're open for this. And then also your teammates will follow. So if you do something very formal, also your teammates will do something very formal. If you are brave enough to do also some stuff that they are maybe not expecting, they will be also way more open and show up. So that is the one advice I learned and that I keep with me. And another good thing is, especially if you join a project new, this is not only a bad thing, but also a great opportunity for you. So reach out to people and say, hey, you know, I'm new here. Maybe you have already experience here. Can you give me some guidance? Can you share your experience? If you are new, people will forgive you mistakes. Yes. Because everyone is sometimes new in some situations. That's true. So play this card, but play this card wisely. So in the first months, you can use it, you can ask people. But the important thing is then if you play this card and reach out and say, I am new, can you explain me this? Then you have to learn those things. If you just don't listen or forget it, that's a big issue. But if you're just saying, yeah, maybe, I don't know, from IT point of view, you have a developer who does this kind of project since 10 years. Go to him, ask him, what are your experience? Or show him your plans and say, I would do it this way. What do you think about? Yes. You have to be the one who stays into control. But it's important to use this experience of your team, and especially in the beginning, because people know the situation of being new to something. So they're more willing to help you. And also even sometimes with the customer, you say, you know, sorry, my bad. I'm doing this kind of reporting the first time. I made the mistake. Sorry, I'm still learning what is going on here. Nobody kills you in the beginning. The important thing is if you do those things and you learn those things, that you then show the people that you really also learn from their feedback. And then you can be quite sure that they will trust you. So this is the second thing that I had just now, like in February, I joined a new project where some people were already running in these things for several years. And it's a very huge and complex environment. And you cannot understand everything from the beginning. That's true. Yes. So it's the best thing then also to admit this to yourself and say, it's not a mistake. It's a good thing to reach out to people and show them that you don't understand everything, but show them that you are eager to learn those things, ask for their advice, and take advantage of their knowledge. That is, I think, the second thing I can recommend everybody who joins a new project or even maybe just joins fresh from university. So be yourself, follow your own plan, but take advantage of this knowledge which is available around you, and ask also for this advice.
Thank you so much, Thomas. That really resonated with me. I love the idea of be approachable. I think normally they say the language that project manager uses becomes the language of the team. Yeah? If you become if you become so official, so formal, everyone will try to be formal. And if you make things, if you leave things a bit loose, the conversation or behavior will also be loose. So as a project manager, you have to be also smart in that area and observe what actually you need. And for me, what I learned also from one of my project managers, the idea was always like, when you're dealing with people, it's so important to be natural, like be you. Because then when you be you, when you become, like, when you're yourself, you will treat people according to what you also expect, and people will see the human in you. So thank you so much for this event, for this time, and for your time to share with our audience about project management and how to build a project like a great team. So thank you so much for your time.